We are Makilala TV, the first Filipino-American TV talk show in the New York metro area. Get to know us as we talk to the community leaders, innovators, advocates, and emerging artists who affect Filipino-American life.
Never Have I Ever. It's a coming-of-age series created by Mindy Kaling about an Indian-American family in California. It is a super strict mom and a complicated, rebellious daughter as the main characters. Mom and daughter are constantly butting heads over things like boys and dating, identity conflicts, respect for traditions, and other stuff. We wonder how the Filipino-American experience is like. Today on Makilala, we invited two moms who are just as American as the daughters they're trying to raise. Mariliz Policarpio, a doctor, was born in New York City. She has two daughters, Layla and Sophia. Marissa Bañez, a lawyer, came to the US at the age of 9. She has one daughter, Angelica. What is it like in their homes, raising girls amid social constructs like body image, sexual harassment, abortion, drive, and ambition? Are they raising their daughters the way they were raised by their Filipina mothers? My name is Cristina Pastor. On behalf of my co-hosts, Rachell and Jen Fuhrer, welcome to Makilala, the longest-running Filipino-American talk show in New York. Welcome to the show, Mariliz and Marissa.
Hello.
Thank you.
My first question to you both. Are you a strict mom? Will you allow your daughters, for instance, to get a tattoo? Marissa, let's start with you.
I'm lucky that my daughter is grown up now, but in looking at her, I see that she'd grown up pretty well as a great person. So, but that's more because of her, not because of the fact that I was strict. Was I strict and always had my way? No. Is she a good person at this age? Yes. So I'm proud of her. Tattoos, only if it doesn't show when she's wearing business clothes.
Mariliz?
Hi. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on this show. It's a pleasure to be here and to see you, Cristina, and everybody else. Good morning.
Yeah,
so, about that tattoo, I wouldn't disallow it because I have two myself. I really can't say anything about it to them. I can't say don't have it because
yeah.
But I would advise them not to get any tattoos in a conspicuous spot.
That's right. So go ahead, Marissa.
Am I strict? Not so, I think, because I think both girls have a good head on their shoulders. I was stricter, especially when it comes to time management when they were younger. I had a very strict schedule for them with piano and studies and TV time, but it's changed now. They're more independent.
Kind of like a tiger mom, right? Jan, you have a question?
I think as immigrant parents, we couldn't help being strict or being like on schedule. Like as you said that there are things that your parents, maybe the way they raised you, are there other things that you kind of implemented while raising your children? Let's start with Mariliz.
Okay. Well, the way I learned, I was an only child and my mother was a stay-at-home mom. So she was my world. And everything I do as a mom, I try to emulate her. So when my girls were younger, she had a schedule for me too. I remember finding a piece of paper and it had a time schedule when I came home from school. So I wanted to do that too because I figured, hey, I think I came out as a good person. So let me do that with my daughters. And hopefully, well, they seem very organized now and in their lane. So that's what I have done with them.
Marissa?
Marissa.
Well, unlike Mariliz, I come from a very big family of 10 kids. And yes. And my mom, you know, she was a quiet woman, but she worked really hard as a hotel maid to make each of us a good person in the end. And I think she succeeded. So she modeled her work ethic for us. She didn't really have the kind of things that you're talking about, schedules and what have you, because she was so busy. So for me, I try to model the same work ethic or similar work ethic for my daughter, juggling my legal career and now my work as a children's book author, my concepts of right and wrong, and other things that have helped me navigate this life so far, so that I hope I can get a little bit of my mom's success in raising a good and fine daughter.
Yeah. Rachell, you have a question?
Yeah, no, that was so beautifully said. You were mentioning about models, like your moms yourselves as models. Who do you think their role models are, and why?
Well,
Is that to me? No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I honestly don't know who her role model is. We've never really discussed it. But if I were to characterize the type of person that she would recognize as a role model, I think based upon what she said and based upon her actions, I would say that it would be somebody who is more forward thinking and liberal as opposed to somebody more conservative.
Mariliz?
Yes. Could you repeat the question again, please?
Oh yeah, no, it's basically who do you think that their role models are? I know that myself, yeah, our moms are definitely someone that we look up to.
I actually think that I have talked about this with them, and for both of them, their role models are myself and my husband, because because I think they see how we are, how we balance life and our work career. And I do teleradiology, so I basically work from home. So I'm here for them anytime they want. And this is what
they don't have any celebrity role
they
models.
do. I'm going to add that. My younger daughter, Layla, she does like Camila Cabello. Do you know her? She's
a good singer.
Black
Yeah.
American singer. Yes, because she's relatable. She has a great positive attitude toward herself, and she's very talented. So she does like her.
That's right. You know, when I was growing up, my parents were very strict with me. So every time I'd go out to a party, they would always say, be sure that your friends are with you, Susana, Rosalinda, Aleli, and that they will take you home. And that they would really insist on that, otherwise I couldn't go to a party. And then when my friends take me home, my parents would be at the door so they can talk to the parents of my friends, Susana, Rosalinda, and Aleli. And I'm probably sure that is very extreme under American conditions, but what is it like in your house? How do you make sure that your children, that your daughters are protected? Marissa?
We have an app that that tells me exactly where she is, when she's coming home, and and she's actually pretty open. She'll text me to say she's coming home, or I pretty much know and trust her to be safe and take the appropriate precautions. So I don't require her to be brought home. I never have really. But that app is really helpful.
Yeah, that's right. I was talking about my experience from a generation ago when there was no app and you only had parents waiting by the door. Mariliz?
Cristina, oh, go ahead, Mariliz.
I do have that app too, Marissa.
We have to share the name of that app.
Life 360.
Yes.
That's when you use
the iPhone. You have to find my phone.
Oh, yes. Really? Okay.
So we keep track, and it's not just to spy on them. It's just for safety reasons also. When they were younger in high school, I tried to make it a point to know all the their friends
Right, yeah.
and their parents. That way I could get a good handle of where they were. When they were in high school, they didn't really go out. They stayed at home, right? And occasionally they would go to their friends' houses, but I knew what was going on in their lives. Now that they're in college, it's hard to keep track of them. And I don't really want to because they need a chance to grow. So I look less often at the Life 360. The time I will look at it is at night to make sure that they're home, like Layla's in the dorm, that she's back in the dorm. And so, it's a matter of trust also.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's just as a matter of trust. But as mothers, I mean, my kids used to make fun. They're all grown up now, but they were little. They used to make fun of me because they tell them, I can't go to sleep until I know you're in the house, like, and I goes like, why don't you just go to sleep? I mean, it'll be like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they wouldn't understand it. I mean, now they're all grown up. I still kind of like want to know that they're all safe in the house. And I grew up with a very strict family. I mean, a strict upbringing. I didn't even know that there's such a thing as sleepovers because I never slept over with, growing up. So when my kids, when they were young, they were asked by, can they have sleepovers? I was like, I had no clue. I mean, no, my answer always was no. So did you have some similar situations where, I mean, I guess you were already raised in America. So you kind of knew that, curfews don't really exist sometimes, and there's such thing as sleepovers, and they could go outside and walk to school, and that's safe. Do you have some kind of similar situations that you had to deal with and struggle? Like, okay, do I become so strict, or do I let go, or is it okay? How about you, Cristina? I'll ask you.
I'm glad that I'm way past that because my daughter is now in her 30s and just pretty much on her own. But I had that feeling too when she was growing up. You cannot rest easy until she's home, until the entire family is home. I guess that's the same for Marissa and Mariliz, ladies. You know how it is when there's some girls who go out and jog and then they never come home. That has always been at the back of my mind, because it's a dangerous world out there. So do those things consume you, Mariliz?
That
Do those
is,
thoughts consume you?
yeah. Well, I wouldn't say they consume me, but it's definitely on the back of my mind because I'm always worried for their safety, especially now that they're out to explore the world. At 18 and 20, they want to see what there is beyond the walls of this home.
Yeah,
And they have no control. I worry about the other people, right? What they don't have control over, the situation, like the surroundings, especially now there's so much crime out there, Asian.
yeah, that's right.
And so it worries me. But what can I do? I'm not out there with them. I have to trust that they have their instincts, their street smarts, and they have to be vigilant. And so before they go out, I will still tell them, be careful, have your street smarts, and hope everything will turn out fine.
Yeah, I think that's a very American way of thinking because I've heard other people say that, Asian mothers, they always think that something bad is going to happen. I think Jen and I
worry
are,
a lot.
yeah, around that time. Marissa?
Well, there's nothing wrong with worrying. To this day, I don't sleep until I know she's back home.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that, I've sent her abroad by herself for long stretches of time.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, the app is a wonderful thing. But even though I allowed her to be away abroad for long periods of time, it's still a worry. And I don't think I'm going to stop worrying until I die. I really, I'm sorry.
That's right.
I just love her so much.
Rachell, I think Rachell is part of a show called Raised Pinay. I think it's essentially a narrative about Filipino Americans and how they're raised in this country. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Rachell?
Yeah, no, thank you, Cristina. It was really first as a benefit fundraiser, and it still is, where we do a production every almost every year. This year is different. For the first time, we're asking Pinay mothers to be part of the production. And we are sharing a story about how we were raised as a Filipina. So it's remarkable, the moms that come out and share their experiences, whether it be their fears as a mom for their daughters, or their hopes for their daughters. I have officially been a mom of a daughter for 4 months now, so I'm still new at this experience. But yeah, I still feel and fear the same things as you do, even if she's just been with me for 4 months. But yeah, Raise Panay has been such a beautiful collective of Panay moms. So I'm hoping to share this with you too as well. We really want to see a different point of view as a Raise Panay.
So. I think you should watch that, because it's really interesting and very engaging. I remember Rachell was there in the beginning, and she talked about her experience with her period, right?
Yes, my period.
We talk about all kinds of things. So Rachell talked about that topic.
Yes, first period experience as a Filipina.
Yeah, it's very funny too. Then.
Yeah, I have like 4 kids. I have sons, I have daughter, and I think raising a daughter is harder because there's a fear of I can't even say it, I'm an old person, like pregnancy. Like, when did you talk to your kids about sex? I mean, to your daughters, it's like birth control and you know, or even having a boyfriend and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I started talking to my daughters, I think around 13 years old, in middle school, because there was a course in their high school, middle school, that actually brought up birth control pills and the different methods. And so I discuss it with them. And I think it's very easy for me to do because I'm a physician. So I use full anatomic terms and also the cutesy Filipino words that describe body parts. So we went through the whole thing. It wasn't very difficult for me, but it's important that they know these things, because when the situation arises, they know how to handle it.
All right, Marissa.
Marissa?
I have to say that we never really had such a conversation per se. That's not to say that I was never open to it. I don't like to put her in awkward situations. And so I always tell her I'm open to talk to her about everything and anything she wants. And she does when she feels like it. And so that's basically it. We never really had a discussion about it per se. If it comes up in casual conversation, we might have a word or two about it, but it's not something that we actually sat down and discussed.
Is it because, do you think that the reticence has something to do with it's a sensitive topic, I'd rather discuss it with my friends than with my mom? Marissa?
I think there's a bit of that, honestly. There's a bit of that. And I can't force it out of her, right?
Yeah.
A person can simply clam up if they don't want to discuss the situation. So that's where we found ourselves. And
so when we had the Supreme Court decision on abortion, did your daughters come up to you and say, "Can you explain this further? What is abortion really?" Did you have that conversation at home? Marissa. I hope I don't get confused your two names. Mariliz. Mariliz, you're the doctor.
With us, I mean, again, she's an adult, and so she knows about these things already. And her position was mostly on the policy rather than the act itself. And of course, she was, just as I was, incensed about the decision. As I said, she tends to be much more forward-thinking and liberal in her thoughts and actions.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Mariliz, your turn.
Yes. We have discussed it when she was a bit older, perhaps when she was in high school already, about this. And we tend to be on the conservative side, and so I know how she feels, but with some exceptions, like in cases of rape, we're always thinking about the mother's outlook on this. So this is how she feels.
Yeah. So
I'm actually curious.
Over dinner. Oh, go ahead, Rachell. Go ahead.
I'm actually curious because Jen can't even say the word pregnancy. How did you talk to your daughter about getting pregnant, even though you want grandkids, Jen? That's how it works, Jen.
Took a while. If I had known that I'm gonna have the grandkids because they
like, did you have that conversation? Because I'm thinking of that even with my 4-month-old, and my 2-year-old son. I practice sex education even at that young age, talking
Really?
about.
How do you talk to them about it?
I don't tell him how to do it, I talk to his body about his body parts. Anatomic. I don't say tite, I say people.
Okay. Now you sound like Jokoy.
But Jen, yes. So how did that come up, if it did ever?
Well, luckily, our school has sex ed education in middle school. But then when your daughter started dating, you have to have that talk. It wasn't easy for me because my mom never had that talk with me, and up to now, you can tell I'm very uncomfortable talking about it. But then then you talk about birth control. I think looking back, I wish I would be more straightforward. And not say just don't have a boyfriend and you wait till after you graduate college. I was actually teasing my I had a talk with my daughter now that she's like in her 30s, and I was like, Ma, you never even want me to have a boyfriend or not be with any guy. So there's no such thing as talking about sex education. But I think it's important because they have to know that there are ways. See, I probably need to get sex education myself.
We'll have a whole episode, Jen. I think on sex education.
Yeah. So I mean, as I said, I grew up. I have 5 brothers, and my mom. My mom was young when she had kids, and talking about body parts. We still call it patutoy and pekpek. So
we all have different names for it.
Yeah, we have different names, but I think it's more of saying like if you can hold off until you're married, that was like the upbringing.
It's totally different now.
Try to be a virgin until your wedding.
Yeah, but
I don't know if that even comes up.
Even force that because
I don't know if that even comes up in the households of Mariliz and Marissa. Anyway, ladies, over dinner, your daughter announces she wants to be a comedian. You want to be supportive, but you know that the job is not really a stable one. What do you tell her? Mariliz.
Okay, if she over dinner told me she wanted to be a comedian, we would have a discussion about that, because I really feel that in this day and age, you need to have a stable job because you have to be able to sustain the lifestyle that you want to have. And if it's a comedian, you have gigs, and there are times in between where you might not have any income. And so I would talk to her. She can be a comedian because if that's what she really wants to do, she should do it. But she could do it.
Mariliz, I'm so sorry. I think I'm being told to close the program. Any final words, Mariliz and Marissa, to women, to mothers, or having a hard time with their girls? Short words of advice. Marissa?
Give guidance, give counsel, cross your fingers, eyes and toes, and hope they make the right decision. And always have a plan B, maybe even plan C, D, E, up to Z, because you never know where life is going to take you.
Mariliz, any short word of advice?
Always have open communication any time of the day. As me, if they come to me, I drop what I'm doing so I can talk to you. I don't delay it till the next time. And also try to make alone time with them. I have 2 daughters, but there's sometimes you need to spend more time with one and the other. You need that to nurture your relationship.
Okay, thanks so much. Wow, it's always hard to end a conversation as interesting as this. So there's a lot to talk about. I'm sure this conversation will continue at home. I have to say, your daughters are so fortunate to have open minded moms like you. And you look like the kind of moms that they can talk to about anything, like anything outrageous, sensitive, weird. And I think that's the most important thing, right? That you have open communication. But before we go, let us listen to a Christmas number from this very popular rock and roll family band. To sing White Christmas, let's welcome Niel Manapat, JJ, JC, and Pepe Lozano of the Band of Brothers.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to